Hello children. In the last class we have discussed about monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross and Mendel's laws of inheritance. Now in this session we are going to discuss about how these traits are expressed. Okay, did you understand the topic? How these traits are expressed? We are discussed about different traits expressed in pea plant, like height of the plant, dwarf, when the plant is dwarf. It was not expressed in F1 generation, again it was expressed in F2 generation, like color of the flower. Understand? Like this, we have discussed about different contrasting features in the pea plant. Now we need to understand how the traits are expressed actually. As we all know, DNA of the cell is the main source of proteins. We all know this. So to make a particular protein, a section of DNA is needed. That particular section of DNA which is needed to form a protein, it is called as a gene. So DNA is made of genes. Understand? And these genes are responsible for the formation of proteins. In the same way, how the genes are responsible for the formation of proteins, in plants, the plant hormones are responsible for the growth of the plant. And we have already learned with the plant hormones like auxins, gibberellins, etc. Understand? If we take plant hormones as an example, how they regulate the growth, if we discuss this topic of expression of traits along with this. Understand? Now, as we know, plant hormones are responsible for the growth of the plant. Now what happens if particular enzyme is responsible for the secretion of particular hormone? Maybe it may be auxin and it may be gibberellin. What happens if the enzyme works efficiently? Then what happens? The hormone will released in huge amounts. Then the plant formed will be torn. The newly formed progeny which will be formed will be torn. In the same way, the particular enzyme which was there for the production of that hormone, if it doesn't work properly, if it works less efficiently, then the hormone will be produced in less amounts and it results in, it affects the growth of the plant and the plant will be dwarf. In the same way, genes are responsible for the formation of proteins in the cell. Okay, if we correlate the same situation here in the human beings or the animals and all, what happens here, we should understand very clearly how the parents are contributing the equal amount of DNA to the new progeny. It is very interesting aspect actually. Now the progeny which will be formed in the future generation, it will have the contribution of, the progeny will have one set of DNA from the mother, it is called as maternal DNA, whereas the other set is from the father, it is called as paternal DNA. How the new organism will get this equal amount of DNA from both the parents? Let's work out on this. When the parents, the organisms are participating in sexual reproduction, definitely it involves in the formation of gametes or germ cells. What happens when these germ cells are formed? The germ cells will receive a set of gene copy. It is also called, this gene copy is nothing but it doesn't contain a single thread of DNA. It is also called as a chromosome. It takes a set of chromosome from the parent. If the male gamete which receives a set of chromosome from the father, in the same way the female gamete, it also receives a set of chromosome from the female parent. Then now the male and female gametes combine together, fuse together to form a new organism, a new progeny. Here when the progeny is formed, the chromosomal number is same when compared to parent. So here the fixed number of chromosomes are maintained in parental generation and also in the next generation. Okay, so I think so you are very clear about the function of proteins, DNA and also hormonal function in plants. Okay, now the next topic is sex determination. What is sex determination actually? How can we determine the sex? So in case of lower organisms, children, the sex determination is dependent on environmental factors also, like temperature. What happens here, the organisms like reptiles and all, if we take reptiles as an example, what happens, these reptiles will lay eggs. When these organisms lay eggs, if that eggs which are laid by the reptiles, if they are incubated at low temperatures, then what happens, they will develop into a male organism. In the same way, if the organism incubate its eggs at high temperature, it results in the development, the egg will develop into a female organism. This is how the temperature decides the sex of the organism. Even in turtles also the same way sex of the organism will decide. Coming to crocodiles, what happens here, when the crocodile incubate its eggs at a low temperature and at high temperature, they will develop into female organisms. They will develop into male organisms. Whereas if the organisms develop at medium temperatures, they will develop into male organisms. This is how sex is determined in lower grade organisms. Coming to higher grade organisms, take example as human beings. Let's see how human beings, how sex is determined in human beings. Children, we all know that human beings have a fixed number of chromosomes. Do you know what is the number of chromosomes? The number of chromosomes are 23 pairs. Among these 23 pairs, 22 pairs are autosomes, somatic chromosomes. They don't have any role in sexual reproduction. Whereas the another pair which is there, it plays a major role in sexual reproduction. Okay, so if it is a female organism and it is a male organism, what happens? They contains chromosomes like XX. The number of chromosomes in females are X and X, same chromosome here. That is why the number of chromosomes in females are also called as, they have perfect pair of chromosomes. Okay, and these are also in homozygous condition as both are same. Coming to males, they contains X and Y chromosomes, and these are heterozygous in nature as both are not similar, and it will be called as mismatch of chromosomes. Okay, these are the chromosomes present in male and female chromosomes, female organisms. So during reproduction, what happens? They will form gametes. Here the male organism also will form gametes. During the fusion, what happens? If the X chromosome of the female organism fuses with the X chromosome of the male organism, the sex of the progeny formed will be female. In the same way, if the X of the female chromosome, female organism fuses with the Y chromosome of male organism, the progeny formed will be male. This is how sex is determined in human beings. Is it clear, children? Human beings contains 23 pairs of chromosomes here. This is how 22 pairs plus 1 pair of sex chromosomes. Here in the same way, 22 chromosomes plus chromosomes. If they form gametes, if these gametes unite in the same way, this is how sex is determined in human beings. Hope you are very clear with this topic. Thank you, children.